Hello everyone and welcome to Where is Xur, IGN's weekly show where we find Xur and we look at his inventory together. Today you can find Xur on Earth. He's down here in the European Dead Zone, and you can find him in the Winding Cove over here standing on a cliff's edge. Let's go and pay him a visit. Alright, so once you touch down in the Winding Cove, pull out your Sparrow, hop on it, and hang a right. You're going to want to go up a series of small cliffs until eventually you go through a cave, and then you'll find Xur at the top of the cliff on a cliff's edge. He's over there standing where you can see Jess Noises gamer tag right there. And here we are, hanging out with Jess Noises. Shout out to this person for being our landmark. Let's go and see what Xur's got in store.
I bring gifts of the Nine.
Alright, so first up he's got Vigilance Wing. Vigilance Wing is a pulse rifle that shoots 5 bursts and it heals when your friends die. So I actually really like this gun for PvP. It got nerfed and it's not as important now, but always good to have in your back pocket if you don't have it yet. Raiju's Harness, great hunter exotic. Unfortunately, this roll is pretty bad, so I wouldn't consider it. And it is sadly the same thing with Armamentarium and actually Transversive Steps is a little better. Armamentarium, there's very spiky mobility. I don't really care about mobility for Titans, but overall 62 stat distribution, not very good. So I'd probably skip this. And then Transversive Steps, this is 65, which is probably the lowest you would want to even consider an exotic roll. The cool thing here is it's got pretty even stat distribution across the board, but it's not the most amazing. Transversive Steps, however, as an exotic is great. So, pick it up if you don't have it, but this isn't the best roll we've seen. Moving on to legendary weapons, Xur's got quite a few legendary weapons this week that I think are pretty interesting. First, there's Whispering Slab. This one's pretty straightforward. It's got quick draw and it's got opening shot. Opening shot makes your first shot better. Since it's a bow, every shot is the first shot. And it's got quick draw, so just good at getting out weapons and getting out shots as quickly as possible and doing damage, which is pretty nice. Not the best bow we've seen from Xur, but good. Dire Promise, this one I'm not super thrilled with. Under pressure and auto-loading holster, not a lot of synergy, not a lot of interesting use cases that I can think of, so I'd probably skip that one. ENIGMA'S Draw, this actually appears to be a pretty reliable sidearm roll. It's got Rangefinder, which is great on sidearms, and it's also got Zen Moment, which I like, even though I'm not really 100% sure how effective it's going to be in a sidearm. Handling, yes, you always need that with sidearms. You want to get them out as quickly as possible. So this is like a pretty decent roll. Didn't blow my mind, but I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's got all the right perks in all the right places. So I'm interested in trying this one out. Then we've got Truth Teller. Usually a great grenade launcher. I really am not excited about the one we got this week. It's not even the best grenade launcher we got this week, in my opinion. So I would probably skip this. Ignition Code. I thought that this one was better, but it doesn't appear to be. I'm probably thinking of a different grenade launcher. Yeah, probably this one. He's selling 3 grenade launchers this week, so it's kind of easy to get them confused in my mind. Yeah, Field Prep and Thresh. Not really super exciting. So moving on to the one I like, Behringer's Memory. This is a power weapon, I believe. Yes, it is. However, it's got quick draw and auto-loading holster. Probably pretty good use case for PvE. It's also got spike grenades. Spike grenades are the best for PvE. And blast radius. So, the perk set, don't buy this if you're planning on using it for PvP. But for PvE, not a bad set of perks. Similarly, Frozen Orbit, I'm also kind of liking these perks. Not for PvE, but I'm thinking for PvP use case. It's got a range masterwork, lead from gold, which allows you to convert heavy ammo and give it to the sniper rifle, which is fantastic because, you can pretty easily get heavy ammo in PvP, and when you do, you'll have more shots on this, which is great. And then Dragonfly, which can give you AoE damage to hopefully damage or even kill groups of enemies, players that are sticking together. So I think this is a pretty decent roll for this. I might pick this up. And then let's move on finally to armor. The bad news this week is it's sort of another week of bad rolls for Xur. He gave us 1 week off where we got some pretty good rolls, and we're kind of right back to where we were. 59 on the arms, bad. The helmet is 60. The boots are 55. The Hunter and the Warlock are pretty similar. Actually, the Warlock's even worse because the Warlock didn't even get a halfway decent one. But basically, the chest piece on both the Titan and the Hunter are pretty similar. They're almost the exact same roll. They have 63 overall stats on both of them, and they are spiky in resilience and strength. So it's like, you know, they kind of got the same roll on this. So this one is okay. 63 is probably the lowest I would ever go with a legendary piece of armor in terms of stats. But it does have very high spikiness on resilience and strength, which is great, especially on a Titan, where you're doing lots of melees and trying to stay alive as long as possible. So, although it's not the best overall god roll in the world, it might suit a certain use case for you. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then finally, I'm going to go over Hawkmoon and Dead Man's Tale, both of which actually got pretty interesting rolls this week. Moving target, not bad. Increased movement speed and target acquisition when you're aiming down the sights. What was the other one it got? Alloy magazine. Faster reloads when the magazine is empty, which is great for Hawkmoon, where you're always emptying the clip, so you can get that slot machine feel. Pretty good roll. Not the best we've seen. If my memory serves, I actually think last week's was even better than this. But, you know, Hawkmoon's a great weapon, so can't go wrong. And then finally, Dead Man's Tale. This is one of the better rolls I think we've gotten in a while. Vorpal weapon, which is my favorite perk on Dead Man's Tale. It's also got accurized rounds, which, you know, longer distances, increased range with the scout rifle. Never gonna complain about that. Unfortunately, it looks like this weapon's on its way out of the meta. Bungie announced that they're going to be nerfing this pretty significantly, especially on PC, where it has been extremely dominant. So it's probably a good idea that it's getting nerfed, but unfortunately that means I don't really know how viable this role is going to be come Season 20 or whatever Lightfall is. So, but some interesting rolls this week for sure. And that's it for Xur this week, guys. Hopefully this video was useful to some of you guys. We'll be back next week to talk about Xur, and we've got Lightfall coming in very soon, which we're going to be reviewing. I'm actually reviewing that for IGN, so very excited about that. And for everything else related to Destiny and Xur, stick with IGN.